Listen up. This is Service Headline News. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Happy to be here, fellas.
And our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
It's good to see you guys.
And we're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all servicemen and women. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as the Swearing In podcast presents Service Headline News. God, I get it. That sounds so stupid. My voice
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
This is dumb.
Works.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
What's up?
Good to see you. The voice of a cracked out angel.
That means, but it's well, so much for the banter.
I have to say, Jake, your wit is amazingly on point, man. You have the quickest wit.
He does. Every once in a while, he gets caught flat-footed, but not very often. Because
Like, I have to prepare.
But even
That's
getting
when I
caught
mess up.
flat-footed is funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. I did step over 2 weeks ago. I did step all over your best one when you were talking about Eric with his B. Arthur poster, and I stepped all over that.
I know.
So damn funny. I apologize.
I was like, man, I can just imagine young Eric just wanking his little nuts to B. Arthur.
Well, from the last show, I am a whore. It's
Just
I'm a
breaking
money,
out
I'm a
in
money
a
whore.
savage sweat. Just
No, you're a
glistening to B.
mercenary.
Playing
You're a
with some
Yeah.
dude's chest hair.
Yeah, I know. He said mercenary. I was like, oh, that's a nice way of putting it.
Called him a whore, Jake.
I would have defaulted to whore.
Called Mr. History a whore.
It's a money whore.
Speaking of that, do you have some history for us, Eric?
You know, I do. And I've decided that instead of going into great detail, I'm going to keep it simple. Simple, right? So hopefully simple doesn't get me into trouble. So I think you guys will like this one, man. July 26, 1947. Flip a coin. Any ideas?
1947.
Yeah. July 26.
Well, when was the Air Force created? It was
September
48.
47. No, it was 47. Yeah, it was 47. Yeah.
Okay.
So in 1947, July 26, President Truman signed the National Security Act, which reorganized the intelligence agencies and armed forces.
Yep.
The act created the Department of Defense. Prior to this, the United States had the Department of War and the Department of the Navy. With the Department of Defense, all of the armed forces would come under one umbrella, including the newly created Air Force, which had previously been the Army's Air Force. The National Security Act also created the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which was made up of the senior uniformed commanders of the armed forces. The first Joint Chiefs of Staff included Admiral William Lee, U.S. Navy, General George Marshall, U.S. Army, Admiral Ernest King, the United States Navy, and of course, the one and only General Hap Arnold, who was an Army general and later reappointed as the general of the newly created Air Force.
Nice.
There you have your 26th July history in military.
Did they have a chief of staff? I mean, what is it called? Who's the Joint Chief over all the Joint Chiefs? Isn't he the chief of staff of the Joint Chiefs? Or
you know what? That's a good question. I don't know. We'd have to look at it.
So he
Marty,
created.
you know the rules, man.
I know,
You can't dig,
Freaking
man. I was.
balsa wood deep.
Did you see how I kept this one simple so I couldn't get in too much trouble?
That was good, because some of those articles get a little wordy.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
That's
Yeah, that was succinct. That was makes me want to ask questions. But now I know better.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I can go into more detail, but I'm just reading.
No, that's good. I mean, you said that prior to what did you say? Prior to the Department of Defense, you had the War Department, and then you had Department of the Navy. Did they have a Department of the Army too? Right? I assume?
They did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, War Department, and then under the Security Act, it was all formed under the Department of Defense.
So they created the first bloat in our government.
Oh.
The first railroad stepped over.
Way too many generals there.
And like that, the first millions were lost. I don't know where they went.
It'd be interesting to find out when
Line their pockets.
the VA, the Veterans Administration, was started. Should probably know that, but
Don't ruin his day in history next week. Need to ruin the surprise, Marty.
Could be. Yeah, that's true. Could be next week.
See, there was no hiccup, so this one's not going to be very funny. God, that was boring.
No,
it was great.
Actually, it was very informative.
I like it.
Yeah. So
the other ones are boring.
Yeah.
But they give me a lot more ammo. And depending on the length of the time, you guys forget what you said in the first time. So I got to be like, oh, crap, I better reevaluate.
But it's almost not necessarily what the actual event was.
Yeah.
It's just listening to Eric get through the event.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I'm going to do next week? Next week, I'm going to wear my flak vest and helmet in case Jake throws a grenade or something.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But you can diffuse that just by reading through it once.
No, you can't.
I do like the spontaneous nature. So.
Oh, God.
Okay, let's go. Let's start the day off the show off with a feel-good story. So this is from the Air Force Times, and an Air Force officer saves a swimmer. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's feel good.
Let me see.
Did he drown him or save him? He saved.
Did he drown him or save
Bonus
him?
points right there.
Well, you know what I'm saying, because a diver or a swimmer who is panicked can actually. Oh, Jake, slow down.
Marty's looking up cool pants right now.
I was looking
at
cool
on
pants.
These pants is quite.
That's
a panicked swimmer can drown his rescuer.
Yeah.
That's
in a riptide, right?
Yeah,
that riptide's crazy because it just goes straight out, and you gotta.
Isn't that why they? Yeah, but isn't that also why they tell lifesavers and lifeguards and stuff to come up from behind?
They try, yes.
So they avoid the flail.
Yeah.
Choke them out.
Our whole show is flail, pretty much. So you got to hit it head on. Right?
That's why you got to wear a helmet and flak vest.
So First Lieutenant Micah Grissom, he's with the 96 Ops Support Squadron at Eglin. He is the one who saved a swimmer. Cool. He went to the beach, Princess Beach, near Destin, Florida. Destin's a pretty nice place. I don't know what you're doing there, Lieutenant, but that's a pretty nice place.
For my kids,
you know what he's doing there.
Destin is nice, right, Eric?
Yeah. They're trying to move to Santa Rosa Beach, which is on Destin. Beautiful place. White sand,
really?
Crystal fine white sand. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, nice. Well, when he got there with his wife, they saw a frantic scene playing out. People were pointing out to the ocean. A woman was on the phone with 911. Group of people were huddled by the water's edge, looking out. That whole description is so bad. It's like, hey, something's happening out there. Now, this guy is 25 years old. It says he's a Colorado native.
Wow.
I should have looked up where he was from.
Yep.
Shout out.
We're known for our strong swimmers here.
Due to our land of 10,000 lakes here in Colorado.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Lieutenant saw three swimmers who appeared to be in trouble, approximately 20 to 30 yards away, not very far, but in the deeper water between the sandbars. The group of three included a couple who had been dragged into the rip current and another swimmer who had initially tried to go help but got swept up in the rip current himself. So he decided to go out there. He was trained in aquatic rescue from the Merchant Marine Academy prior to being commissioned in the Air Force. So he went out there.
He was a lifeguard at Great Wolf's Lodge. Don't even play it out.
He was the lifeguard at the lodge.
Wednesdays and Sundays.
He certainly knows rip currents.
That's 6 feet water's deep.
Maybe that's a wave pool at Waterwell.
I'm just kidding, LT. Good job.
Yeah, no shit. Good job. It says at first he tried to use a side stroke to get himself and the female swimmer out of the rip current and safely to land, but the strength and force of the swiftly moving water made this task impossible. He swam out to the three, and it was clear they weren't okay. The female swimmer had already swallowed a lot of water and was semi-conscious, and her body was being supported by the two males. So due to this is a weird quote, or a weird line, due to the severity of the situation and the difficulty the other two men were having, the group decided Lieutenant Grissom would try to save her. I was like, you got her, LT. I'm damn tired of him. So at first he tried to use a side stroke, but he said it was too strong. He couldn't do that. So he switched tactics. Grissom decided that he had to use the waves to his advantage. As a wave broke, Grissom would launch the woman's body forward with as much force as he could muster to get her closer to shore. So he's trying to throw her as much as he could. I know.
Awesome. Ragdolling this poor lady.
Yes.
Just hang on, baby. Just hang on.
But the depth of the water robbed him of the ability to push off the ocean floor, as his feet could not reach it. He didn't have enough power to move her very far. The enormous pull of the riptide proved to be a larger problem than he anticipated. After each toss of her body, Grissom would get pulled underwater and have to first get air himself before quickly swimming to keep her afloat, then restarting the entire process. Throughout
I don't think he knew that you have to swim parallel with the shore until you're out of the rip.
Oh, I've heard that before.
You can't swim directly into the shore.
It's like counterintuitive. You want to go to the shore. You're better off just kind of riding it and moving left or right.
Parallel down the shore.
Because
it kind of take you,
even if it's taking you out further,
it'll push you back. The waves will push you back.
Yeah.
But it's like a swath, right? So if you can get out of the pool of that current, then you reach kind of clear water. Is that what the philosophy is?
Yeah.
But that's all if you're keeping a clear head, like that's not if you're dragging a rando lady around trying to hurl her through the rip current.
You're not thinking very clearly.
Right? Yeah, you're freaking out, trying to breathe, trying to.
And I picture this
random lady that got pawned off on you.
He's only 30 yards from the shore. Maybe there wasn't a rip current. Maybe he was just doing it for fun. And then she'd come back to him and he'd be like, yeah. He's like, I can't get out of this rip current. As he's standing knee deep in it, he's like, still pulling me up. Let's do another one.
I'll tell you what, those things killed millions of people in Florida. 200, 300. I mean, it's daily.
Yeah, Marty, how sensitive. Jeez.
Well, I didn't expect Mr. History to be the downer on this one.
I'm sorry. It just is.
Wow. All right. Well, let's try to finish this horrible story. Hopefully it has a happy ending.
Lieutenant, you're the man. I swear.
Yep.
Throughout this whole ordeal, the Grissom and the female swimmer didn't speak at all. She was just eerily calm and compliant with the entire situation. This is a weird quote too, or a weird line too. Whether she had accepted her fate or was too tired to respond is unknown. Accepted her fate.
It's unknown. That's unknown.
Just give up on life after 30
you may
yards.
Die today.
That's it. I'm in the riptide. I'm tired. This guy keeps throwing me backwards every 10 seconds.
He's probably concussed.
We beat that poor woman senseless.
Still not getting closer.
Yep.
10, 20 more times should do it.
Stop resisting.
Just go limp. Just go limp. Eventually, Grissom was able to get his toes to the sandy floor and get firmer footing to propel the woman forward with this slow but productive tossing method. It's not me that made that up. That almost sounds like something I would have said. Tossing method. So once he was able to stand, he beelined towards the shore, holding her in his arms. When they emerged from the water, friends of the couple descended upon the female swimmer, forced her to vomit up seawater and help her regain consciousness as medics arrived on the scene. Because he was totally focused on the woman's safety, Grissom doesn't remember exactly how the two male swimmers made it back to shore, but they did. Thought that was a funny line too, actually.
That was a good one.
But they did.
Afterward, they
Thankfully.
told Grissom that God had sent him to the beach to save them that day. So
Wow.
good on you, Lieutenant.
Yep.
Well done.
Anytime we have a feel good story about a military member is a good thing, man. It really is. We laugh and joke, but that's good shit. Because nobody was acting. People, I'm sure there was 100 people on the beach and nobody went, fuck. They're out there.
And that happens more often than not in a lot of these stories.
That's what I'm always shocked about.
Where the military person will take the initiative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people do you think had their cell phone just filming it?
Yeah. Could be. Could be. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, they might be like, I'm not strong enough to toss this bitch. Maybe this guy.
Yeah, that's tough.
So we haven't done a tech story in a while, but I found this one from the Navy Times. The Navy's working on a transformational Iron Man dive suit. Are we going to say, how many times did you hear Iron Man prior to 10 years ago when they started making those movies?
None.
Never did. Now everything's Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Every reference is Iron Man.
The Hawaiian Iron Man, the big race. That was the only thing you heard related to Iron Man. You know what I mean?
That's different. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. And hell, they made watches out of that.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't a watch and a whole line of gear and all that other shit?
Yep.
So there's the suit. Now, doesn't that look like an old time, like 1950s type suit? Yeah. You know, everything you've seen in like sci-fi movies?
Now, that doesn't look anywhere as high tech as I would think.
It's definitely thinner, though, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah,
more compact.
Right, it's not Cuba Gooding Jr. walking around.
Yeah, jeez, can you imagine that? Can you imagine how claustrophobic that would be?
To know that you got that hose tethered up.
Well, yeah, and all you see is this, and through mesh.
Here, no peripheral. You're just like, oh.
And think about the noise too. Like, that air has to be loud in that helmet.
Yeah.
Just the hissing noise and your own breath and everything has got to be loud.
When they created the new CPAP machine.
That's how it is. Full head CPAP.
You don't have to worry about it over your nose or mouth. We're going to put your head in.
That would actually probably be more comfortable, to be honest.
You would get rid of those unsightly strap lines in the morning.
Yeah, I embrace mine.
Well, I'm just saying, instead of something that's that invasive, now you should get like a hyperbaric chamber. Would that work?
That would be cool.
I don't know if that would work. Work for Michael, but
sleeping in a hyperbaric, I don't know.
The Navy's developing a new Iron Man diving suit that aims to enhance divers' safety and allow them to work longer and in deeper waters. Now, here's another acronym for you. God, we should really write down all these acronyms. The deep sea. Well, let me say this. What would you come up with for an acronym for a Navy diving suit that's going to help you to go down through the water?
Not the SS Titan. Sorry.
Oh, man. The old SS Plumbob.
Man, that's a good question. What would you call it?
I don't know. What do you call it?
This one's called the Deep Sea Expeditionary with, and I hate when they do acronyms like that, when they add a little word in there, but they don't include it in the acronym. The Deep Sea Expeditionary with no decompression system, or descend.
No decompression. So they can go deep and not have to worry about making a safety stop of any sort.
Right.
Or to burn off nitrogen. Back up either. Yeah.
No burning nitrogen off.
But the acronym is descend. Descend.
I like SpongeBob Bubble better.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's a form-fitting.
What was the squirrel's dome called? What was that in SpongeBob?
Bob.
Oh yeah, what is Sandy the squirrel?
Sandy.
It's a form-fitting atmospheric dive suit composed of rotating and flexible joints to provide divers with greater mobility while also keeping internal pressure steady. So basically, this guy, Paul McMurtry from Naval Sea Systems Command Diving Systems Program Manager, says it is a hard suit that the diver crawls into. Some of the key challenges these divers face are dealing with water pressure in deep waters and decompression sickness. which happens when nitrogen doesn't have enough time to clear from a diver's blood due to a quick decrease in water pressure. The descend suit, which has been in the works for more than 5 years, eliminates the need for a gradual ascent to the surface. Because it provides one consistent atmospheric pressure, this allows divers to spend greater time underwater. With the suit, we can drop the guy down to the bottom. He can work for up to 6 hours and then come right back up. He gets out of the suit, next guy jumps in, boom, he's back down for another 6 hours.
Yeah. So in recreational diving, you always dive your deepest dive first. You come up, you make a safety stop based on your depth. You get out, you have out of the water time that goes towards burning the nitrogen. Then you can make your second dive.
And what depth do you have to worry about any nitrogen?
Oh, right at 60 feet.
60 feet? All of a sudden 60 feet?
Yeah. Wow. If you go to 60 feet, you're probably gonna ascend a lot slower.
Oh,
wow. Because you have to burn the nitrogen off. Oh. Because it'll create an embolism.
How often do you have to pause at the top and just splash around and say "we"?
Wee. You can do that at any time.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. As I thought that was the pre-dive tactic or post-dive. I wasn't sure.
It's both. You can wee before and wee afterwards.
Marty, that picture looks like he's wearing his work boots, honestly. Like if you look at that picture, his hands are exposed. I think this is just like a test demo.
Oh,
but his hands are exposed and he looks like he's just got his work boots on.
If you scroll down further on that article, if you looked it up, there's another picture that without a diver in it. But that looks much more sci-fi. That almost doesn't look like the same suit as the one in the top of the article.
No, it looks like the helmet goes sideways
kind of
versus on top, but I think it's just leaning forward.
So they say that a job that would take mixed gas divers 2 to 3 weeks to complete, the suit could knock out in a day or two with a much smaller team, a smaller footprint, and then the safety of not having to undergo decompression sickness. So that's pretty smart. That's pretty cool.
But ultimately, regardless, you're still tethered to a line.
Yeah, right.
They haven't figured out a way to create in the suit so you're not tethered. So it'll be an interesting time when that happens, I think.
Yeah, that's true. The descent system is, in essence, a one-person submarine, but form-fitted to the point where the person can operate it like a diver. So it's not going to be
latches on the back too. Like you just latch open the back, open it like a hatch, and crawl in.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it has hinges on the back.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
But if that's the case, that's pretty smart. However, it's still in the early stages, won't hit the fleet for at least several more years. So they won't even have a development test on it until like 25 to 27.
Oh, does it say anything? And I'm not asking for details. I'm just curious about, can it dive in cold water without pumping hotter water around the diver?
Yeah, well, it's all hard case, so I guess you could do it if you wanted, right?
I was just curious.
I think as long as you have your pasties on, it's not a matter of chafage.
Throw a little talcum.
Says you could dive up to, it's designed to go up to 300 feet.
Damn.
So
that's a long ways.
So pretty cool on the Navy.
300 feet. Like that just illustrates though how difficult it is to go down in the water versus up in the air.
Yep. Because at 300 feet, it's pitch black without any light. If you don't have any lights with you, it's pitch black. You can't see nothing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The light is gone.
What's the farthest down you've ever dove?
Recreational divers can only go to 130 feet.
Oh.
No, there's not a sheriff down there checking on you. So I've been to about 140. We dove on World War II tanks that were sunk at 140 feet in the Philippines.
Really?
That's pretty
cool. And we hung extra tanks at 40 feet. So we had a safety stop. We breathed off that tank, saved the air in ours, did the 5-minute safety stops or however long we stopped, and then surfaced. But that was cool. But again, without our lights, you couldn't tell colors because at that depth, colors change. Red becomes brown.
Oh, green. Yeah.
Yeah, the colors get all blurred. You
Wow.
can't tell colors.
That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Was that part of just you guys thinking it up and going doing it, or were you part of a trip that did that? Because hanging tanks, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were with a dive master that was experienced on the island, who knew they were there and had taken a couple students down before. So we wanted to go see them. All you saw was just crusted. You couldn't even make it out as a tank that had been down
really?
there so long. Yeah, it was so beat up. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not coming for a while, but it is pretty cool. And then when it does come, we'll be like, hey, we covered it back in July 23. So, all right, Jake, what story you got? I'll cut that right into there so nobody can tell.
As is consistent with my military theme of Johnny fuck around.
Well,
and I am a mild expert. It is true. It has been engraved JFA in one form or fashion. Willie got it in my retirement EPR.
Did he really?
He's amazing. That man's a golden pen. That is just for that.
That is good.
Just for JFA. It was on one of my PCS plaques, all that kind of stuff. Well, the Air Force has gone and played a little JFA with their funding in Task and Purpose under the title of How the Air Force Ran Short of Money for Personnel.
The thing that matters most.
The only color of money that legitimately matter,
that
kind of thing, right?
Yes.
So think personnel funding. Okay. So the Air Force has suspended re-enlistment and retention bonuses and delayed PCSs or permanent change of stations.
Jake, how many stories have we done over the last month about all these retention bonus, recruitment bonuses?
That's
like
the
Air Force is throwing 5,000 here, 10,000, 50,000 here.
Yeah. Look, Marty and I both know that's the only reason I went in to be a space nerd. Right? I was a weapons loader, and I was like, what are the career fields that are on the bonus?
Critical list? AFSC?
Yeah, that's it. I was like, oh, those 3 career fields, I'll apply for that one, and that one.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
So, of course, they forget to, I don't know, renew the electrical bill, basically. Basically, whose job was it to sign for the PCS?
You know what it sounds more like? It's like, yeah, we got 10 grand, man. Come on, sign up.
We're good.
You signed up. He gets out of basic. He's like, hey, where's that money? He's like, hold on. It's coming.
Exactly.
It's coming.
And know that happens. That happened on a simpler note.
Oh, hell.
We're getting way distracted, right?
That's what this night is all about.
Yeah. Anybody that takes a required motorcycle training course will get reimbursed. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. My dumb individual, my dumb ass, goes and does it at the end of the fiscal year, which is stupid for me. Like, I should have known. So end of August, I sign up for a motorcycle safety class. September, I take the class. They're like, yeah, we don't have any money to reimburse you. Well, we'll reimburse you.
Was that $500? I can't remember how much. It was expensive.
It depends, but it was like 300 something, 300 change.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a full weekend. Right.
Mm-hmm. 2
And
days.
so, yeah. And so I sign up. They're like, we'll reimburse you next fiscal year. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. We don't have the money to pay for you right now, but we'll reimburse you for the next fiscal year. Right. All right, fine. Go in there, apply for it. The same damn finance person, literally the same dude sitting across the table from me that said, we'll reimburse you next year, said, yeah, that's last year's funds. We can't reimburse you.
Oh.
All right. Got me good.
Someone's going to die.
And so that was just on a motorcycle safety course. That's not, hey, my recruiter said it was 10 grand for signing up for this fucking thing. And I'm like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Not
And
anymore.
And you know that people play the game, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we tried to do it where you sign up or you sign up for a TDY where you don't have to pay taxes, and then you're going to re-enlist.
Yeah.
So you're mid TDY and you're like, oh, I got to do the paperwork to re-enlist. I'm going to get this sign up bonus tax free.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Right.
Oh yeah, no more sign up bonus.
Well, they just pulled the rug
And
out
you're
of
deployed.
all those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing your part for the United States of America.
Yeah. So back to the article. The funding shortfall resulted from a higher than expected PCS, or permanent change of station, costs as a result of inflation and the addition of recruiting and the addition of recruiting and retention bonuses. The Air Force spokesman, sorry, sexist bastard that I am.
Yeah.
And Stefanik told Task and Purpose. The Air Force has suspended its selective reenlistment bonus program for fiscal year 23. So, as of July 11th. So, everyone after July 11th gets no retention, no bonus.
So screwed,
Everyone
man.
before that point, literally your coworker sitting next to you, may or may not have gotten 30 grand and said, thanks for my bonus. You go in July 11th and you're like, hey, I'm ready to sign up. Critically manned career field, highly trained individuals.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you may or may not get this. So
no, you're not getting it. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
we ran out of money.
Exactly. So the airmen who are eligible for the bonus but are scheduled to leave service before October 1st are encouraged to extend their time in the Air Force so that they can collect the bonus next fiscal year.
Now, knowing that the Air Force is not smart enough to do that, but if they were smart enough and devious enough to do that, they're like, hey, we're out of money. But if you'd like to sign up for another 6 years, then we can get you that bonus.
That's
Next
right.
year.
Yep.
Only one though.
And you know damn well those poor guys.
Oh my God.
Yep. So in another move, the Air Force has suspended its Legacy Aviation Bonus program, which increased the maximum amount of money offered to retain eligible pilots for 35,000 to 50,000.
We just did that story like a month ago.
We did. Yep. We did.
Like pilots are making bank, man. Look at this.
Yeah.
And they suckered them in. They're like, oh, hold on. We'll get it. I owe you. I owe you, Captain. Don't worry.
Yeah. Every snack bar fund I would have a you owe me in it from now on.
You take as many Snickers as you want.
Yeah.
Holy
The Air Force
shit,
is taking time to resurrect the bonus program, which is expected to be offered again within the next 2 weeks of this news release. Pilots will still be able to receive a bonus as long as the service has money for the program. Well, clearly they don't have money, or we wouldn't be reading this article.
I know. It's
right?
So stupid, man.
The shortfall in the Air Force, it's so ridiculous, right? This shortfall in the Air Force's personnel budget can also delay PCS moves, for airmen who do not yet have orders. This literally affects one of my friends who is expected to PCS late this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Transitioning.
Jake, to update you on that story that you just read, they just came out with money. So stripes.com on the 24th, was that yesterday? Yesterday. Just came back and said the Air Force summer moves are back on track.
Lucky us.
With more funds from Congress. So the Air Force this week will resume permanent changes of station after stopping most of them earlier this month. But the resulting rush may leave some airmen scrambling to move to their new bases on short notice. Airmen who are expecting to move by the end of September should receive orders at least 30 days before their departure date and possibly as early as the end of July. Orders usually are issued 2 to 3 months in advance. Not this time, because now they just turn it back on. They're like, oh, you got to make this move before the end of the fiscal year.
Yep, your history now.
There's going to be some pissed off wives, right?
Before October.
Just a few more divorces.
It's another reason I don't want you to be in the fucking military anymore. Congress approved a request that restores funding to most military personnel programs through the current fiscal year, which ends September 30th. That includes resuming PCS moves and restoring bonus programs for aviation. How the pilots get their money. New assignments, foreign language proficiency. And is that what was that? Did you ever run into anybody who did that? They could speak Spanish and they got like a bonus. Yep. Yeah. But they got that bonus like all the time, right?
I think so. I don't think it was just for when they did it.
No. It's basically to be on standby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That's like basically it.
Like that Coast Guard guy they left in the plane. You can translate for us. It's like, God damn.
He probably got a bonus on that.
I wonder if he did. Oh, yeah.
I bet he did.
And bonuses or money also is included for reenlistment for careers with the retention shortfalls or high training costs. However, airmen overseas with pending moves between October and December may have to wait until as late as next March for orders. So if you're sick of Germany now, add another 6 months on that thing.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And do they take you out of your squadron and okay, your weeds and seeds, we need to paint that rock over there?
Right. Oh, there's no way they do that. You just stuck there in your squadron for.
But remember that story we did about how they were going to pay so much extra a month to stay in Turkey?
Yeah.
And these guys are like, I just got 6 more months of that.
More incentive pay.
No, there's no money for that. No money for bonuses.
Oh, he just got screwed, and he's in Turkey. Sucker.
Got him.
Got him good, man. Most bonuses stopped earlier this month will be reinstated next week for another month and a half. So that's the update. I mean, Jake, you brought that full force of, hey, we'll give you, I can't remember how much it was. Couple $100 a month or something like that to stay in Turkey. And these guys are like, all right, fine. I'll stay till October. Hey, we got bad news for you. 1, we don't have money to pay you that bonus. And 2, we don't have money to PCS you.
You're going to stay longer.
Oh, man, how'd you like to have that conversation?
Oh.
So that article was from May. And it was tax-free bonus of $1,000 per month.
$1,000 a month.
Wow.
They got screwed out of all that. And get to stay an extra 6 months.
And they're not going to do a back pay, correct? They're not going to retro?
They might. They probably will.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The way they're mismanaging the money.
I think you'd like to think they will. They projected it. They said we're going to pay you, and now, hopefully it's a retro pay.
So it's just a matter of restrictions going off base, right? And you can't. It's unaccompanied.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Think about that, right? You're not allowed off base, but you're getting family SEP. You're a family separation pay, right? For any non-military, that's a benefit. If you're married, and then maybe have dependents, you get a certain amount a month if the military sends you somewhere that the family can't be with you, right? Yeah. We got family separation. Korea gets family SEP, right? Like
all the unaccompanied stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Anything
Thule,
unaccompanied
or are they allowing families at Thule?
No, they don't allow Thule. Okay. Nothing. But Korea, you don't get it if you sign up for a 2-year because then
they have housing there now. Yeah.
Yep. They'll ship your family out with you, I think.
Yeah.
And if you're married to military and she's in country, even if not at the same base.
Yep.
No family SEP.
Once again, though, mill to mill gets freaking screwed, right? Yeah. Like you can be stationed In Colorado, as long as you're stationed in Colorado,
Yeah.
you're not family separated.
Oh yeah, but
Right?
you could be at Schriever and one could be at Buckley,
Yeah.
and that's not
No
family
family
set.
set.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're at Cheyenne and you're at Buckley, that's not family separation.
Yeah.
That's such a screw.
I'm like, dude, that's a 2.5 or 2 hour drive.
Right.
What are you supposed to do?
My
Live
wife
in the
certainly
middle.
feels separated.
Yeah, live in the middle.
She was their first wife was loving that separation there.
Yeah.
So much so she made it permanently.
Yeah, she did.
No, Eric made it permanently, but not with a little, not with that
Oh,
little
yeah, good
gotcha in
call,
the
that was a good
ribs.
call.
I love that part though. I love that.
Yeah. That was an interesting. I told you I still got the freaking
The
Seoul
tickets.
Olympics baseball game that I was
Oh,
going to go to,
man.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Okay. You guys know who Tony Bennett was?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, that silver tongue fox tone.
He's a
man.
crooner.
I mean, if you bring up
Oh.
some of that old stuff that he was like,
Yeah.
he was that group that were crooners.
Big time.
I wonder how many
Man.
illegitimates were conceived to Tony Bennett's voice.
Oh,
That
right,
was
right.
Sinatra,
A lot of
Yeah.
illegits.
He's the
thanks to
white
that
Teddy
man.
Pendergrass.
Dean Martin. Heck yeah, man.
Good call. That was a good pull.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for picking it up.
Yeah.
Well, Tony Bennett passed away last week, July 21st, 2020 or 2023. He was 96 years old.
Wow.
He was born Anthony Dominic Benedetto in 1926 to Italian immigrants. When he turned 18 and 44, he was drafted in the U.S. Army. In March 1945, the young soldier was deployed to Europe with the 63rd Infantry Division, replacing casualties lost in the Battle of the Bulge. From April 24 through the 27th, 1945, Bennett was among the soldiers who liberated the Kaufering concentration camp, which was the largest sub-camp of the notorious Dachau complex.
Wow.
World War II in Europe was over within days after the liberation of that camp. Corporal Benedetto was sent to Mannheim as part of the Allied occupation force of post-war Germany. It was there he picked up the microphone to sing jazz with Army band units. After returning home and leaving the Army, Bennett studied bel canto singing at the American Theater Wing, using his GI Bill while working a day job operating an elevator. So there was some other
respect.
Yeah. A little training paid by the GI Bill, and he had a chance opening with somebody who opens a big doors for him to sing. Led to a career spanning 7 decades, millions of records sold, and 20 Grammy Awards. So,
and holding hands with Lady Gaga.
That's right, he did.
Gaga sang with the Gaga.
He did an album with her. Right?
He did a song. I don't know if it was an album, but I think I know he did a song.
Oh, okay. Because I thought she did that whole like throwback to the 50s, but I thought it was more than just one song, but maybe it just was.
Not sure.
So with the passing of Tony Bennett, I thought we'd play round 2 of our Guess the Branch game. Okay.
I'm on board.
This time it's all musicians.
Okay.
And this time I've done the slideshow, so it should work. Okay.
I'm coming after you, Jake.
I like how you say should.
It should work.
It should work.
I like it.
Okay. You ready? Competition is on.
Yep. We already knew that. Oh,
Johnny
he's
Cash.
famous for being an Air Force member.
Eric?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was Navy.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
Air Force.
Air Force. Really?
He joined in 1950.
Johnny
Cash joined in 1950 as a Morse code operator in West Germany for 3 years.
Wow.
Here's what's weird is like the Air Force, the people you don't kind of, the more like lean towards, no offense, Army, lean towards outlaw, slightly Army-ish, are like, really, Air Force? I did not see that coming.
Nope.
It's surprising, and you're right, Jake. We should do a whole like NCOPD of like, here's your real heroes in the Air Force. right?
Yeah.
Marvin
Yeah.
Gaye,
Yep.
Johnny Cash, Morgan Freeman. So,
Chuck Norris.
Man, Morgan.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, second one. George Strait. I don't know how much you
Really?
listen to
He was
country
in the
music.
military?
George Strait. Real country.
He's a
music.
country guy.
So
I
what
picked
would that
first
be?
last time.
Yep, you pick first. this
George
time.
Strait, because it was quick, he had to get back to his music. Quick stint in the army. Quick stint in the army.
Not sure I follow your logic, but I like your decisiveness.
Can I pick Army also, or do I have to
Yeah,
pick something else?
yeah. This isn't the.
I'm
auction.
leaning Army just because of his old country western tendencies.
And he was Army. George Strait was
Don't
in
feel
the
bad.
Army.
It's Hawaii.
He enlisted in
Schofield,
71,
man.
went to Schofield, served from
4 and out.
71 to 75, got out as a corporal.
Did you know him, Marty? It looks like 75, right?
I think he was outbound when I was inbound. So.
Oh, okay. That's too bad.
Willie Nelson.
Oh shit. I'm sticking with my ridiculousness and leaning Air Force.
Oh.
Because this is the biggest pot smoking SOB out there.
Well, that's where I was going. Maybe he was Coast Guard because they could get away with smoking.
Dude,
dope.
yeah, he probably
that's a
he
good
probably
point.
picked up quite a few of those square groupers in his day.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Willie in the service. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm gonna go Air Force too.
I think that's his same guitar too.
It could be.
Like that.
Air Force, you are correct. Willie Nelson was in the Air Force.
Look at that twisted
Background.
head.
That's
know,
why
what
he's
a
got.
goofball.
That's why he's got to smoke the doobies. Is the
He
background.
joined in 1950, but had back problems, so they discharged.
I'll
So
be
he
Look
wasn't
how
very
young he looks. Man, he
That's
looks
crazy.
freaking young.
That looks a lot younger than 1950.
It doesn't even look like the Willie Nelson, man.
But what?
No.
He's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he joined in 1950 at 18. 70 is
Wow.
88. So he's got, is he in his 90s?
I think he might be in his 90s now. Let me see.
That's
Must
a
be-
testament to weed right there.
Must be something said about that herb.
Good night.
Yeah, no kidding. All right.
Right?
John Coltrane,
Oh,
saxophone
man.
great John Coltrane.
Ooh. You
Man,
were
I've got to go first, huh? Coltrane. I don't know him very well. I'm not familiar with his music either.
Sax big time in the 60s.
Jazz.
Yeah, jazz. All
So big
three different
Vietnam. Black guy. I'm gonna go Navy. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Navy.
all right. That sounds
All right.
that's sound.
given that time, either he got drafted in the army or he was pushed like early. Fine, I'm gonna get drafted. I'm going Marines.
Oh, that's not bad.
Ooh,
That's my
Marines.
mentality.
Marines.
Vietnam
going-
era
but I-
too.
Yep.
You ready?
I'm going Army.
Navy. Wow.
Navy it is.
1945,
Hawaii
he
again,
enlisted in the
and
Navy.
Navy band.
Would it be racist to say that I thought just black guys seemed to have joined the Navy back in the earlier days, back
Oh,
in
yeah?
60s and 50s,
I think it had to do with where you grew up.
or
To be honest.
African Americans joined the Navy?
No, because I think more of the Northeast joined the Navy
Okay.
than
Why'd
maybe
they
the
put it
South.
like that's like a mugshot in uniform.
Yeah, a lot of the early Navy ones were like that.
Like, look, he's got a number. He's got like
Yeah,
his enlistment number and a height.
it's
Yeah,
the
behind
weirdest
him.
thing. It's the most unflattering picture. Yeah. It
By the way,
He's only
certainly wasn't-
5'8".
it certainly wasn't dreamy looking like Willie Nelson's.
No.
Willie is 90,
Like
by the way.
Willie's in the
90?
background
Okay.
is all
90.
like faded into
Yeah.
light. Like
It looks like a
nice.
prom picture.
It looks like a prom. Yeah, it looks like, oh, look at
This
this.
one looks like he got arrested.
And then this one's full on mugshot.
Yes,
He was
it
crawling
is.
up some frickin' side of a building, sleeping on a
What?
ledge.
Served in Hawaii.
Served in Hawaii.
That's
All right,
a
you
lot.
ready?
I mean, that's 2 right now that are in Hawaii.
Shaggy. You know who Shaggy is?
I do. He's
I
a
had to listen to
rapper.
his songs. I was like,
Wasn't
Shaggy.
he?
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
Man, I don't know about Shaggy. So this would have been Desert Storm.
I think so.
Error.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going Army again.
I'm going with the African American thing and saying Navy again.
God, Eric.
We're getting canceled for sure.
Shaggy was in the Marines.
Oh, look at that.
Orville Richard Burrell, better known as Shaggy, joined the 10th Marine Regiment, was a field artillery.
Oh, there you go.
He served on active duty for
Marines.
3 years, including a 5-month
Look,
deployment to
right?
Kuwait during the Gulf War.
Nice.
That was probably after the war. He had to, because they had a whole ton of guys that had to stay there to like clean up.
Well, like Jake said, I should get half a point. Marines fall under the Navy, don't they?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm talking about the half point.
You don't get half a point. Plus, you probably should lose a whole point for keep saying black guys going in the Navy.
I said African American that time.
I'm sure that makes it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're good in that case.
John Fogerty.
Oh.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, CCR. Okay.
So another Vietnam kind of era guy.
It's not me.
Still means nothing.
So I think
they play Fortunate Son, the big song by CCR. Yep. They play the beginning of that in so many movies now.
So many Vietnam movies too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's in like every Vietnam movie.
Yep.
I'm thinking Big John was a Marine.
Oh.
I think Fogerty was a Marine.
Dude, I got nothing on this. I got no feelings on it. I'll go Navy.
How do you
Navy.
Guys?
Army.
That was too
I didn't
simple.
want to say Army 3 times in a row.
Fort Knox as a supply clerk.
John Fogerty enlisted in the Army in 1966, was stationed at Fort Knox as a supply clerk until 1968.
John
Big
Fogerty.
career.
Brad Durst from Limp Bizkit.
Oh, here you go. There you go. Look at all the tats and tell me he's not a Marine, Jake.
Oh,
that's
Army Navy or Marines. Yeah.
Wow.
Navy has a strong history of tattoos.
That's true.
I'm going Marine.
Which I always thought was funny because back then you couldn't come into the service in general without tattoos. But you left with everything tattooed. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not going Marine. I'm going Army, but only on the fact that if he was a Marine, he'd have a USMC or an Eagle Globe of an anchor on his arm.
Oh, good one there. So which one do you choose?
Could be on his
Dude, it's required. It's required.
Yeah.
You're basically not a Marine unless you have one of those 2 tattoos.
And you sure it's not on the left arm or the right arm over there?
No idea. I can't zoom in.
So who'd you choose? Army?
Army.
Eric?
Marine.
Navy.
Come on, damn it.
Fred Durst
talked myself out of it.
Joined the Navy at 18, served for 2 years from 88 to 90.
What do we have, like 1 each?
You keep defaulting. That's the 3rd time you defaulted to the Army.
I know.
That's unusual for you, Jake.
I think poorly of these people.
Ice-T.
Oh, it's my turn.
No, you chose first last time.
Oh, yeah, Eric. You chose first last time. I'm going Army.
Ice-T is
That's a
Army.
spite choice.
He is Army all the way.
You both choose Army?
Army all the way.
Ice-T was in the Army.
Yeah.
Look at him back then.
Yeah, he listed in 1977, was signed to Schofield. Everyone went to Schofield.
Hey, who's his wife? Isn't he married to the big boob blonde? What's her name?
Mrs. T?
No, man. Are you serious?
I would Google that. Big boobed blonde lady.
She's an influencer. She's a model. I actually think she's done a little bit of soft porn.
Ooh, nice.
What is her name?
Well, I'll Google it for you.
You need to Google it.
Some machine that could.
Ice-T's wife.
If only we didn't have to just guess at random stuff.
She is a
Coco Austin.
That's her.
Coco.
Big blonde, big boobs.
Yeah, all right. That was a pretty good description.
Yeah. Was he right on? He was right on.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
I mean, I'm not gonna boil it down to that. I'm sure she has a lovely personality, but
she has an influential personality.
Yeah.
Marty, did you know who Coco Austin was?
I've heard the name, but I haven't looked it up because I'm screen sharing and I don't want my screen to lock up. So I'll have to reserve that pleasure for later. George Jones, another country great.
George was in the military?
George Jones. This is
back.
These were like the old country, right? The country when country.
That's
country,
50s. Right? That's 50s. Easy.
George Jones.
So the Korean War. I'm gonna go George because it's my turn, right? George Jones was an Air Force guy.
Oh,
that's what I'm thinking.
I saw you sent that on the chat, Jake, but I can't go look at it yet.
Go look at it, Mark. Go look at it.
Not yet, it'll be distracting.
It'll be a long audio break.
What'd you choose, Eric?
George Jones.
I said Air Force.
Air Force.
I said Air Force.
I'll go Navy. He looks like a. Are we bad? We're horrible at this.
Marines. George Jones, country great, was in the Marines.
Look at that face, man.
He enlisted in 51. At the age of 20, he was stationed at Moffett Field Naval Air Station in San Jose, California until 1953.
2 years.
Nice.
Last one. Jimi Hendrix.
Oh.
He was in the military. Really?
Air Force.
No, that's too early. I'm gonna go Army.
Jimi Hendrix was in the Army.
Yeah. Yeah.
He enlisted in 61, served with the 101st Airborne.
Oh, so he's the airborne quality guy?
Granted an honorable discharge in 62 after hurting his ankle while jumping. So I was trying to get BB King was in the military too. He was in the Army as well, but I couldn't find a picture of BB King while he was in the service. But BB King told a story about how he was in roughly the same time, or maybe he was out living in the same area that Jimi Hendrix was. And that picture is from BB King's archive of him being in uniform with his guitar. And you can see he's got it strung left-handed.
Very cool.
So he would come out to BB King and jam with.
There were a number of these guys that I had no idea were in the military. Yeah. So good stuff on this one. Man.
Yeah, me too. Wait till we get to business leaders. All right, let me look at this.
Do we have like
two? My God. Jesus.
Is that Coco?
Holy shit.
That is tame compared to what came up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
I told you. Was there soft porn?
Unfortunately, I had to look at a lot of very lewd pictures to find those ones just for you.
Oh my God.
Hard on your eyes, huh?
Well done.
It's rough.
I think she's also got a crazy good looking sister as well.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Well, with all the work that she's had done.
Oh, yes.
You make every member of that family look that way. You know what I mean?
Well, Ice-T sitting back going, that's my girl.
Good job, Mr. T.
Yeah.
Good job.
Mr. T. Needless to say, this is End Up, gentlemen.
And
the episode.
Indeed.
So on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And as always, make sure to download the next episode for more service headline news. Ben, thanks for the week. And I'll see you next week.
Good night.
We'll see you guys. And Eric, I would come up with a snide comment, but I'm way too busy researching Coco.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.